Tonight, my guests, I will have to call them to order. Discussions going on even during the break. Speaking of which, we are also seeing a lot of your feedback. 2243 is the SMS line. Hashtag is NEWSNIGHT. Let's put the tweets up first. All right, this is what Kenyans are saying this evening. Engineer Lazaro Kanyamboki, you're saying time for political free transfer windows. More to follow after 30th. DP and his team can't be members of two political outfits at the same time. Our constitution does not allow a man to serve two lords. This Engineer Lazaro Kanyambok. Jomo Gigi Mokorowene, you say, I feel cheated when I see the gusto in which Jubilee adherents and more so party officials are eager to hold an NDC to kick out renegades, forgetting that this was the very undoing of KANU that led to its slow death. Although KANU members today will say they're not dead, but Jomo, that's your views. Peter Mutie, you say, I don't see a big problem. If someone has already moved on, why ask them if they've moved on? Okay, that's Peter Mutie. Martin Kihika says, if these guys were men and women enough, they should have left Jubilee, relinquished their seats and seek a fresh mandate on a UDA ticket. But we all know they can't. They don't stand for anything. That's a concern there from Martin Kihika. Let me read your SMSs. Remember, 2242 is the SMS line. He says, one viewer here, no name, you say, ask Kioni, where will they get their delegates? Because I haven't heard of a grassroots election. Will it be a legal delegates conference? That's one. And then let me see one more here. Please ask Kioni to tell us, will the meeting be attended by members of other parties? Will they be invited? All right. Let's get some of the thoughts now. We can respond to that before I ask one other question.
A quick one is that we ourselves have been invited by other political parties in the NDCs. It's a practice all over. I have attended NDCs, not just for within our country. I have attended NDCs in countries like Norway, invited by those political parties when I was an official of PNU. So it is normally good practice. It's actually good political manners. Parties that are well behaved invite others, even those whom they are competing with. Because as I said, it is not, you don't compete to kill one another. It is not so vicious. You know, that is one of the mistakes that we have in our minds as in our country, that since we are competing and we compete in a very corrosive manner, something that we need to deal with as a country. People think that you are such enemies, you cannot sit together. But mature politicians compete to get an opportunity to preside over the affairs of a nation. And that should not make you an enemy of the other. It should not be such that you cannot even eat together. And that is actually, that informs the reason why I fear any leader seeking for a political position, especially the office of the presidency, who doesn't have within his chemistry the ability to reach out to those whom he or she was competing with, is a very dangerous thing. You must make sure that you reach out. And I urge all those who are now being given the ticket to run for the presidential ticket next year, to start having that in their system. They must reach out. For the sake of this country, you must reach out. And I want to say this. One is that, like she says, there's nothing wrong in forming another party to run on when elections are near.
Okay.
PNU was formed 3 months to elections. Same thing about even 2002 when we were saying Kibaki Tosha. The party that was formed just a couple of months before elections. The TNA URP thing you're talking about was formed 3 months or so before elections. But when you form a party 4 years before elections, and you are actually creating a rebellion within the ruling party, 4 years to elections, that is the bit that's marks of dishonesty. It is a really bad thing. It doesn't show leadership. And a leader must have patience. You must tolerate, even when you are being mistreated. Your qualities must be seen to be a person who cares more about the nation other than a personal greed. You know, serving, like President Kibaki said, is a privilege. Not to satisfy your personal greed, but to serve others. It's a privilege to serve others. And this is why it is important to say that when the former Prime Minister went to Uhuru Park and was sworn in as the people's president, that moment presented us with an opportunity to see the true statesman in the nation. It was either that Uhuru was going to say, I have been sworn in, through the constitutional provision, I am the president of this republic, nyinyi mutaniona. He would have sent the army to Uhuru Park. He would have crushed everybody who was there. In any case, those who were even at Uhuru Park feared for that eventuality. Some of the NASA principals didn't show up because they actually thought that was going to happen. He didn't do it. Why? Because if he had sent the army there, even the renegade corner, the rebellions team, would not have had an opportunity to rebel because we would not have had a country. So the people who sat to save the country at that moment are people you must celebrate. And if you are looking for a presidential position and you cannot appreciate that fact, you continue bad-mouthing the handshake to the day we are in here. Something is wrong with your approach, and we must fear you as a leader of this country. We must be very, very fearful. Because if such a scenario comes up again, you have already demonstrated that you have no ability to help us out of that scenario. Statesmen are the ones.
I think you're presenting your personal views there.
No, yes, and you called me to present my personal views. Remember, this is you called me to present my personal views.
So are you saying because someone has questions about a handshake, and there are people who moved to court to question the EBI process thereafter?
I am saying this, Wahiga, that if you cannot be able to appreciate that, I would urge Kenyans who will be voting 2022 to be very fearful of a person who does not see anything good that came out of the handshake.
Although it's people's constitutional right.
Let me go back again. I was part of the 2007 team. You remember we had the crashes and the deaths that followed? And I was one person who really questioned the president then, Mwai Kibaki. Why did you go over and sign a coalition agreement with the prime minister then? Then he was the leader of ODM. Was it CORD? Why did you?
ODM, I believe.
It was CORD, I think. The Pentagon. I think it was.
They've mutated.
It was, yeah, but the ODM still remained. But I think it was the CORD thing. And you know, Kibaki called us to KICC as members of parliament, young people, and he asked us a simple question: Kati yenyu nani amekufa? What's your problem? I've signed with Raila. What is it that you want? We want a country that moves, not a country that stores and we are fighting forever. And he came with the agreement that he had signed with Raila and said, I want you, if you are a leader, worth the votes you are given in your constituency, now take the piece of paper we signed and show me where we should improve it before it is passed in parliament. And he told us that is leadership. That's why you are elected as a leader, to show the way forward, not to continue competing and fighting and killing one another. So this is something that you can never. In fact, I tell you, it is a very dangerous thing.
Okay, and you've
to do
said that several times now.
You know, I told you that she talked for quite a while. So I wanted to say this.
Something as I think that point you've already made.
The desire to deliver on the promises that you made to Kenyans when you are looking for votes should subdue your ego to the point where it does not matter how low you go to get an opportunity to deliver. And you can only do that in a peaceful country.
Okay, Honorable Kioni, tell me this one last thing shortly. I need to allow Honorable Boss to speak because we need to wrap this up.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. The state of political parties in this country. Why are we unable to get this formula right so many years after the quote-unquote second liberation?
Because we'll have to fix our politics. And we must fix our politics and fix them if we ever want anything to happen in this country, including fixing our economy. And you would need to take a deep breath, remove your personal greed to power, personal greed to wealth, and the rest.
And some would say across all
everybody,
political sides,
including me. No, I'm not talking about anybody. Please, Wahiga, I'm not competing with boss. No, I am not. I'm not here to do that. Mine is how do we move this country forward? Even as we compete with UDA and the rest, we still must remember that there's a country that is crucial for us. And if this competition might start looking bad, it is upon us leaders to ensure that that competition is tamed and given some sensible direction. Because we will all suffer if it doesn't work. So it's not that I'm saying until we fix our politics in this country, we are not going to be able to help. And then it does not matter the model that you have to help us improve our economy. For as long as we are competing to the point where we swear another president at Uhuru Park, that is not useful. And it does not mean that one should not accept that you have been defeated. Yes, it should happen. You should be able to take in the defeat. But if in a country we are still not yet there, as leaders, what should we do to ensure that we are able to go over this issue, because it looks like we'll be there for a little longer than we thought. We thought that with the devolution, these issues will be behind us. We thought that with the 2010 constitution, these are issues that are going to be behind us. But since they are not behind us, as leaders, you cannot stop looking for a solution that will help us move forward, so that the competition between UDA and Jubilee is a happy one, not one that is becoming so corrosive. You know, you are so bad that, you know,
Well, she disagrees with you. Let me now allow her to come in. Go ahead, boss.
Okay, first, I want to take great exception for any leader who's worth that leadership to begin to sort of go into fear-mongering on national television. I don't see where the current election and campaign mode that is going on and the galvanizing of support of like-minded people around a certain political vehicle has any parallel whatsoever with the happenings in 2007. I refuse to accept that that can be said. So what he's trying to do is send fear to certain parts of this country, and that is wrong. And I hope that NCIC is watching this.
No.
Because they have no two parallels on both of them. Let me finish.
I will be happy to repeat it before them at the times.
Yes, all right. Yeah, but you see, you're protected. They won't arrest you.
I know.
Okay.
But in any case, allow me to finish. So I have said you cannot draw the parallels. They are not similar, and nothing like that is happening. I still remember campaigning in 2017. It was a fever pitch type of election to get Uhuru re-elected and Ruto. I still remember 2013. It was even more fiery than this time. Because remember, Uhuru and Ruto at that time were facing a sitting prime minister controlling half the government, the Nusu Mukate government. They were also going against someone who was being pitched by the international community, where they were saying choices have consequences. This guy stood no chance. And I remember at that time, it was the sheer will of getting the grassroots support that got them elected. They stood no chance, but they succeeded because, so it was exactly the same kind of elections we're having now. So stop the fear-mongering, has nothing to do with it. I also want to take great exception and to correct this as a law-abiding officer of the court. Before I'm a politician, I am an officer of the court. And I swore as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya to uphold the Constitution. And you swore to uphold the Constitution. I taught this guy law at the University of Nairobi.
You have made your point.
Let's see, that's my point is, he went on to say that the president had the choice to send the army to Uhuru Park and to crush the Raila supporters during the swearing in. First, let me tell you, the president has no power. No president, not this one, not future presidents, have the power to send the army because someone is committing a petty crime. If you want to charge them with treason, there is police officers, there is DCI, and you take them to court. You don't crush them. Again, that kind of making it look like the president have some power that is beyond the Constitution. And I want to remind us, all of us here, that when the president takes the oath of office, when a member of parliament takes the oath of office, you swear to uphold, protect, and defend the Constitution of Kenya. You, Mwaura, are obligated under Article 3 of the Constitution as a Kenyan to uphold, defend, and protect the Constitution. So we cannot be talking about something unconstitutional that could have threatening that something unconstitutional could have happened, and we are even smiling about it. We should not accept that. You saw what happened in the US when the Trump supporters tried to raid Capitol Hill. They were treated like any common criminal who had contravened the penal code and the constitution of that country. And even the former president was dealt with accordingly. So let us become people that talk about the rule of law in this country.
Okay.
You cannot circumvent
yes.
the Constitution and expect to be rewarded from it. You should actually hold to account. And lastly, I want to say this. When you say, oh, people are in this party or the other party, every party is as good as the people who are the members of that party. Those members of that party, Jubilee, have gone to UDA. They shifted to UDA. That is why Jubilee has remained as a shell. So when you have your NDC, in fact, Mwaura, you had asked me, what do you think the headline will be? And I think they will be saying that Jubilee is dead and the NDC is just to complete the final rites.
That's your prediction.
That will be the deadline. And like I said, we are not invited because once a family has had a death in the family, it's not for people who are considered outsiders to decide how they dispose of the remains. They are choosing to do it at their NDC at Kasarani.
Honorable
We wish them luck.
Honorable Kioni, what will that newspaper read the next day? I don't know if it's 31st
November. And lastly,
but it should pass to you. You deal with it later. It should pass to you or amuse you.
And briefly, please. We're wrapping this up.
Why are they so preoccupied with the dead Jubilee? I mean, look at, she spent 3/4 of her time talking about the dead Jubilee. I've not talked about UDA. And I'm telling you, I think they are really worried about the dead Jubilee than the one that was alive when they were there.
I was going to just make a final comment, please.
Final comment, but let me say this. A good politician must be a good student of history. Okay. Those of us who are around a while ago are being careful to ensure that we don't go back there.
Okay.
I know what I'm talking about. If Uhuru Kenyatta had behaved the way the people who left wanted him to behave, like expelling them, calling for by-election, and all those kind of things, would be down the same lane that we were 2007. Again, give it to Uhuru Kenyatta, a statesman. He went for the handshake. He has nobody to shake hand with during this divorce, but he still has behaved very well. He's not looking at the old photos. When you move out of a marriage, and you are in another marriage,
yes,
ban the old photos. Let them not give you the bad memories. I don't understand why they are really so preoccupied with Jubilee. We will manage our affairs. We will be having a relationship with others next year.
Yes.
We will be in government. By the way, we have a candidate. We know what to do, and we are doing it when it needs to be done. That is the
just two items. If you say anything, 30 seconds, please.
Yes. Just one thing. He says that we started building UDA 4 years ago. That would be August of 2018. That is inaccurate.
Actually, it is Aria.
That is inaccurate.
It's Aria.
Now, let's go on. If I may, so that please. Is inaccurate, factually inaccurate. Aria. Finally, I think the handshake in itself was not a bad idea. No, hold on. I haven't finished my sentence.
Again, you answered all these questions.
What is wrong was using it to become a forum and a place to make an illegal and unconstitutional constitutional change. It was not supposed to give birth to constitutional amendments. It was not supposed to give birth to creating new seats for certain people because they have nowhere to go. So yes, I'm very clear that you seem to talk about the handshake itself. You're forgetting the illegality.
Okay. He started, I finished. He can't start and let me just say my final one. BBI,
it's okay, we'll let
which is still in court.
Okay, she has said she will let you.
Which is still in court. The solutions in that document are solutions to problems that we Kenyans have. We still need solutions, even if not in the document called BBI. We can call it both, but we need the solutions.
Okay.
That is what is important for us as a country.
I think that's a good place to leave it. She's smiling. You seem to be done. So we are just going to have to close the show there. My goodness. And these two campaigned together in 2017. 5 years in they say a day in politics is like a week.
We'll be together 2024, don't worry.
Goosebumps just thinking about it.
Goosebumps thinking about it.
I don't.
We're going to wrap this up.
Don't wish bad things on me.
Can you imagine July, what is it, November 30th? I don't even know what's going to happen there. But if this is anything to go by, could really determine the future of the Jubilee Party. Thank you so much to both my guests. We've had Honorable Gladys Boss, good to have you in studio this evening, together with Honorable Jeremiah Kioni, just shedding their thoughts on the, or sharing their thoughts rather, on the state of the Jubilee Party, UDA Party as well, and so much more in terms of what's happening, how we got here, and what the future might look like. And thank you to all our viewers who've tuned in, sent in so many messages, can't read all of them. SMSs via the 22422 number and the hashtag NEWSNIGHT. Remember, here every Tuesday we endeavor to help you understand really what's going on, getting you the leaders who have an idea and also what the future might look like as well. On behalf of the whole team that's made this broadcast possible, thank you for tuning in. My sign language interpreter this evening has been Wilson Mushora. And thank you so much for having tuned in. We'll see you soon. Have a good night. Stay safe. My name is Wahiga Mwaura. Goodbye.